Have you ever stopped and realized that your brain does things every single day that would sound completely insane if you described them out loud? Yet somehow, we all just accept them as normal and move on without questioning anything at all. Your brain predicts the future, edits your memories, deletes parts of reality, lies to you with confidence, and fills in gaps with things that never happened, all while convincing you that you are seeing the world exactly as it is. And the strangest part is not that this happens, but that it happens to everyone, all the time, without us noticing. So today, we are going to look at 10 completely normal things your brain does every day that are actually very strange once you understand what's really going on. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Let's start with something your brain has been doing since the moment you were born. 1. Your brain is constantly predicting reality before it happens. You might think you see the world first and then react to it, but in reality, your brain is always working slightly ahead of time, making predictions about what it expects to see, hear, or feel next, and then correcting itself only if it gets things wrong. This is why you can understand fast speech, catch a ball, or read a sentence, even when some letters are missing. Because your brain is not waiting for perfect information, it is guessing and adjusting in real time. Scientists call this predictive processing, and it is one of the reasons you feel like the world flows smoothly instead of feeling delayed or chaotic. The funny part is that when your brain predicts something incorrectly, you don't experience it as a wrong prediction. You experience it as confusion or surprise, which is why optical illusions work so well, because your brain commits to a guess before checking the facts. So every moment you experience is not a direct recording of reality, but your brain's best prediction of what reality should be. Which means congratulations, you are living slightly in the future at all times, and your brain is just hoping it gets it right. 2. Your brain edits your memories every time you remember them. Most people believe memories are stored like video files, where you just replay them exactly as they happened, but that is not how memory works at all. Every time you remember something, your brain actually rebuilds that memory from pieces. And during that rebuilding process, small details can change, disappear, or be added without you noticing. This is why people can remember the same event differently, why childhood memories feel fuzzy, and why you can be absolutely confident about something that never happened exactly the way you remember it. This process is called memory reconsolidation, and it is completely normal, healthy, and unavoidable. Your brain does this because memory is not meant to preserve the past perfectly. It is meant to help you navigate the future, so accuracy often matters less than usefulness. So when you say, "I remember it clearly," what you really mean is, my brain rebuilt this story in a way that feels clear to me right now, which is a little less comforting if you think about it too much. On the bright side, your brain isn't lying to you on purpose. It's just updating the software every time you open the file. 3. Your brain deletes parts of reality so you don't go insane. Right now, as you watch this video, there are countless details in your environment that you are not aware of at all, even though they are clearly visible and physically present. Your brain filters out information it considers unimportant, like the feeling of your clothes on your skin, the sound of distant background noise, or even your own nose sitting directly in front of your eyes. This is called sensory filtering, and without it, the world would feel overwhelming and exhausting very quickly. In fact, studies show that people who have difficulty filtering sensory input often experience intense mental fatigue because their brain is processing far more information than necessary. So when you suddenly notice a sound that has been there all along, or become aware of your breathing only after thinking about it, that's not new information. That's your brain temporarily stopping the filter. Which means your brain is constantly hiding reality from you, not because it's dangerous, but because it's boring. And honestly, that's probably for the best. 4. Your brain fills in gaps with things that are not actually there. Your brain hates missing information, so when it doesn't have enough data, It fills in the gaps automatically, often without telling you. This happens with vision, sound, and even thoughts. For example, there is a literal blind spot in each of your eyes where the optic nerve connects, yet you never see a hole in your vision because your brain fills that space with surrounding information. The same thing happens when you mishear lyrics, assume someone's tone, or jump to conclusions in conversations. Your brain would rather give you a slightly wrong answer than admit it doesn't know. This is efficient, but it also explains why misunderstandings feel so real and why first impressions can be incredibly misleading. Your brain is basically saying, "I'll fix this later if needed," and then forgetting to check, which is impressive, until it gets you into an argument you didn't need. 5. Your brain experiences time unevenly on purpose. Time feels fast when you're busy, slow when you're bored, and strangely stretched during intense or emotional moments. And this is not a flaw, it's a feature. Your brain does not measure time like a clock, it measures change. When a lot is happening, your brain compresses the experience, making time feel shorter. And when very little is happening, it stretches the experience, making time feel longer. This is why waiting feels endless, why vacations seem short, and why memories of childhood feel longer than recent years. As you grow older, routines increase and novelty decreases, which makes time feel like it's speeding up, even though nothing about time itself has changed. So when you say time is flying, what you really mean is, my brain isn't recording many new details. The solution isn't slowing time down, it's giving your brain something worth noticing. Otherwise, it just fast forwards without asking. 6. Your brain confuses confidence with accuracy. Your brain often treats confident thoughts as correct ones, even when there is no strong evidence to support them. This is why people can feel absolutely certain about false beliefs, misremembered events, or incorrect assumptions. Confidence feels good, and uncertainty feels uncomfortable, so your brain tends to favor certainty whenever possible. This is known as cognitive ease, and it explains why repetition can make false information feel true, why simple explanations are more convincing than complex ones, and why your first answer often feels right even when it isn't. Your brain is not designed to always be correct, it is designed to be decisive. And decisiveness was very useful when hesitation could mean danger. Unfortunately, it is less useful when arguing online. 7. Your brain treats imagined experiences as partially real. When you imagine something vividly, your brain activates many of the same regions it would use if the experience were actually happening. This is why thinking about food can make you hungry, imagining embarrassment can make you cringe, and visualizing success can feel motivating. Your brain doesn't fully separate imagination from reality, it just scales the response. This is also why anxiety feels real, even when the threat isn't, and why daydreaming can affect your mood. From your brain's perspective, a well-imagined scenario is still information worth reacting to, which means your brain sometimes stresses you out over things that exist only in your head, and then acts surprised when nothing happens. 8. Your brain gets better ideas when you stop trying. Some of your best ideas appear in the shower, during walks, or right before sleep, not because those places are magical, but because your brain switches modes. When you stop actively focusing, your brain enters what scientists call the default mode network, a state associated with creativity, memory integration, and problem solving. This is when your brain connects ideas freely without pressure or judgment. Trying too hard can actually block this process, which is why forcing creativity often backfires. So when you suddenly get a great idea while doing nothing important, that's not laziness, that's your brain finally having space to think. Which explains why the moment you sit down to be productive, your brain suddenly wants a snack. 9. Your brain protects you by forgetting pain. You can remember that something hurt, but you usually can't remember exactly how much it hurt. This is because your brain softens painful memories over time to prevent constant fear and stress. If you remembered pain perfectly, you would avoid necessary experiences and live in constant anxiety. This is why people willingly do things again that they once said they would never repeat. Your brain is not erasing the lesson, it's removing the suffering, which is very kind of it, considering how often we ignore lessons anyway. 10. Your brain is always trying to make a story. Your brain hates randomness, so it constantly looks for patterns, causes, and meaning, even when none exist. This is why coincidences feel significant, why you see shapes in clouds, and why you connect events that are not actually related. Narratives help your brain understand the world quickly, but they can also lead to false conclusions. Your brain would rather believe a simple story than accept uncertainty. So when things happen for no clear reason, your brain fills in the blanks and calls it understanding, even when it's just guessing confidently. And when you step back and look at all of this together, something becomes very clear. The human brain is not a camera, not a recorder, and not an objective observer of reality. It is a prediction machine, a storyteller, a filter, and a problem solver, doing its best to keep you functioning in a complex world. It bends time, edits memories, hides information, fills gaps, and sometimes lies, not to deceive you, but to help you survive, adapt, and move forward. And the more you understand how strange your brain really is, the less strange your own experiences start to feel. Because what you thought were personal quirks are actually shared human features. And there you have it. That's why your brain does so many strange things while pretending everything is normal. If you enjoyed this kind of calm, curiosity-driven explanation of everyday experiences, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most.